What's up guys, Jag and Tech here, and this is the iPhone 12 Pro Max, the biggest and best you can get on any iPhone right now. And this is the iPhone 12 mini, the smallest yet still the best you can get on any iPhone today. Two ends of the spectrum, two devices that are very different from each other but still have a lot in common. So today we're going to take a look at how these phones compare to each other and hopefully help you guys decide which iPhone is right for you. So starting off with the design. The 12 Pro Max has a frosted back glass along with a stainless steel frame, creating this really nice contrast between shiny and matte. While the 12 mini has a normal glossy back and an aluminum frame that brings out the color of the phone even more. And even with two kinds of materials, both look really nice and premium. I can't really say which one is better for you since this all depends on what you like the most. But for me, I'd go for the Pro Max's look, not because it's the Pro model, but because it's just cleaner, more elegant, and more Apple-like. However, the most important things to take note here are the feel and durability. Both feel great in the hands. You get excellent build quality, but you just don't get the best of both worlds because with either one, you are going to deal with tons of fingerprints. And we all know this kind of ruins it for a lot of us. But it shouldn't really matter if you decide to put a case on the phone anyway. Now, where they set themselves apart is durability. Both have the same type of glass front and back. Both are equally sensitive to scratches and cracks, but when you drop it on its side, it's a whole different story. Because stainless steel is tougher than aluminum. So naturally, this makes the 12 mini's edges more prone to dents and scuffs. It also makes the damage more visible, but that doesn't necessarily mean the phone is more breakable. The stainless steel, however, may be heavier and tougher, but it can also have its own share of bumps and scratches depending on how you drop it. Now, the biggest difference between these two are of course the screen sizes. They both have amazing OLED displays with the 12 mini rocking a 5.4-inch screen, while the 12 Pro Max with a 6.7-inch display. And after using these side by side for some time, I can say that they're equally good and enjoyable. They both have the same color calibration, images are very sharp despite the massive difference, but if you choose to pixel peep, the 12 mini will have the sharper display with 476 ppi over the 12 Pro Max's 458. Now this is all due to the smaller display on the 12 mini, but in plain sight it is not at all noticeable. And in terms of brightness, the 12 Pro Max can get a little bit brighter with 800 nits compared to the 625 nits on the 12 mini. However, for HDR content, both will have a peak brightness of 1200 nits. One thing they have in common is they both show nearly the same amount of information in an app. Now, the bigger display on the 12 Pro Max is surely more enjoyable for watching movies, YouTube videos, and other widescreen activities. But having the bigger display doesn't mean it will show you more content. If you look at it side by side, it's basically a bigger version of the 12 mini, just with a little sneak peek of what comes after it. But what I do like here is you get to see a lot more details of whatever is on the screen. On the other hand, the 12 mini is great for so many things as well. It's so much better for one-handed usage. Getting to the control center and navigating through the UI has never been easier. But the only problem here is it may be hard to focus on details on the screen since everything is just cramped up. But personally, I still enjoyed watching videos and viewing content as much as I did on a big phone. This is mainly because of how compact and light the phone is. Now the 12 mini has an incredible fit in the hand. It's secure, it's light, it's the most comfortable phone I've held in a long time. But it may be too small for some people that it may not feel like a new premium iPhone. As for the 12 Pro Max, and I've actually said this in my full review, but it is way too big and heavy. Now I've got some pretty small hands, so naturally I wouldn't find it comfortable to hold. But I do know people with bigger hands and they still do not enjoy holding a phone this big. It is straight up a two-handed phone unless you decide to stick a phone grip on there to keep it in place. Now let's talk about the camera system. This is one of the things where people really put their money into because iPhones are well known to have one of the best cameras in a smartphone. From the outside, both the Mini and Pro Max have a 12 megapixel standard and ultra-wide lens. Both are also capable of shooting 4K Dolby Vision HDR video. But on the Pro Max, you get a third lens for telephoto, Apple ProRAW, 4K 60 Dolby Vision, and physically bigger lenses that should help in getting brighter photos. But if you take all the numbers out, you'll be surprised to see that both these phones' cameras produce just about the same results, even with the Pro Max's bigger lenses. Under different lighting conditions, you can see that both perform at pretty much the same level when it comes to overall quality. Everything from dynamic range, sharpness, and exposure were very similar. I honestly wanted to get much better photos on the Pro Max, but I really don't see any difference. That's why if you're planning to get the Pro Max just for the camera, maybe it's time to do some rethinking. Although it does have an advantage over the 12 mini, and that's the telephoto lens. Now this is not at all necessary for average use and isn't really worthy of spending the extra money unless it's something you really need. I mean, as a tech geek, I'm honestly fine without having the third lens. It is a nice tool to have if you're really into close-up shots and you zoom in all the time, but that lens is more towards the pro user, like a professional artist, creator, or photographer, because you'll be getting that 2.5 times optical zoom, and professionals really love that. Adding to this is Apple's ProRAW format, which basically provides a lot more data in a photo that makes it better for a photographer to deeply edit the colors, white balance, and exposure of that photo. But at the end of the day, just ask yourself, do you really need to spend those extra bucks for the third lens and all the other pro features? Because both take incredible photos either way, so the 12 mini should be enough for what you want and need in a phone. Well, except for battery life. Now this is where the 12 Pro Max absolutely crushes the 12 mini. It's a 2,227 mAh cell versus a 3,678 mAh cell, a major gap in between. But the 12 mini's battery is actually not that bad if it's in the right hands. First of all, you can get up to 4 to 5.5 hours of screen on time. It's not good in 2021 standards, but it's perfect for people who don't use their phones for heavy-duty tasks. If you're like me who spends most of their time on a computer or an iPad, then this will be great. For the 12 Pro Max, you can never go wrong with its battery life because you can get up to 8 to 9 hours of screen on time. I would say this kind of battery is perfect for the ones who depend on their phone the most, the consumers who do work on their phone, the ones who take and edit photos for Instagram, binge watch movies, or people who want to get into vlogging but don't have another camera. This will do the job. So yeah, battery life I should say is good on both depending on how you use your device. But of course the 12 Pro Max is the absolute winner here. So putting them head to head, these cater to two different kinds of users, making them the best phones for each one. The 12 mini is a no-brainer if performance is your top priority. If you've always wanted a smaller phone that can deliver flagship performance, which is pretty rare nowadays, this is the one. It just may be short on battery life, but the overall experience is amazing. For the 12 Pro Max, it's the one to go for if you genuinely enjoy using big phones overall. The iOS experience is the same across the board, but this will just give you a bigger canvas. So if you really want and you can spend for the biggest screen and the biggest battery on an iPhone, this is it. This should get your money's worth. But if some of you think you don't belong in one of these extremes, then the 12 or 12 Pro just might be the right call for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, hope you guys liked the video, and I hope this helps some of you decide which phone to get, or at least narrow down your thoughts about these devices. And I want to know, are you a 12 Pro Max kind of user or more in a 12 mini? Let me know in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one.